In terms of business, it is SMB across the world. Okay, let's start this with this story here, and this one has pretty much caught my attention. This is actually coming in from. This is a letter from the State House coming in from Mr. Peter Kamya and Dr. Margaret Mugerwa Kamya. It is actually a claim of illegal sale of Smb Manual House and Afrique Suites by Equity Bank. Your above subject matter apparently refers to following receipt of your complaint to me about the illegal sale of your properties by Equity Bank. I directed the Attorney General and the Government Bank of Uganda to investigate the complaint and report back. Now, this apparently is coming in from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni from the Office of the President, State House, and actually going to the IG, that is actually going to Betty Kamya, and with a reference of claim of illegal sale of the Smb Manual House and Afrique Suites by Equity Bank. And the President said that since being advised that the sale was legal, since you had defaulted on payment of the loan and did not deposit 30% of the loan amount as was ordered by the court, they are further advised that you are at liberty to pursue other remedies in court. That is coming in from signed by the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and copied to the Honorable Attorney General and the Attorney General of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, as well as the Governor, Bank of Uganda. All right, let's look at what is happening across the world, across the globe. But away from that, this is Smart Means Business. I'm Jerome Post Sonko, and for all of you that are just joining in, yes, it is high time we get kicking as well. But how do you get kicking? As a matter of fact, you only get kicking, or you only get ready when the time is now. And pretty much the interesting part of it is, point number one is following us on our social media platforms. The social media platform, Facebook and Twitter, at Smart24TV. The website is www.smart24tv.com. YouTube, Smart24TV space live, as well as what has actually been happening globally in terms of business as well. Because if we look at situations of business and what have you, let's look at the October Pitchfest, which is the November Pitchfest, which is happening on Thursday, November 25th, and what opportunities are there for the entrepreneurs. First and foremost, just like you've had the pinch, it is just an opportunity for the entrepreneurs to pinch into the available opportunities. Ori musubuzi, ori muvubuka atandikawo ka business school. These the Pitchfest is actually there for you to actually pitch in your idea. Chikwata akatono kwegamba mai obwongo bwote bufumbye jangu n'ekirowoozo kyo kiteeke waawo, talk about because that is what entrepreneurs do. Talk about it, then an available investor agenda kutunula mu nsonga eyo amanye nti okay, with what is actually going on, I can invest money into this. Because I've actually got to realize that the bigger challenge that we face in Uganda today, or what the entrepreneurs in Uganda face, is the facilitation. They face a very huge challenge of finances. Because for a startup, there is a very big challenge when someone is actually just starting up. Nti omuntu abagenda tandikawo business, waliwo obusente obutono obwo bw'oyinza okugamba nti obusente butono naye nga buli very important. Ng'omuntu waba tabuyina oyinza okwegamba ayinza osanga obuzibu mu long run mainly because businesses start up and people expect a lot, because on a startup you'll find out that you will need to invest in a lot before you actually succeed with your business. So ojja kwekanga abantu abasinga business weba yakatandika elemererwa okutuuka awo agyetaaga teweelemererwa kiba kitegeeze batalina lugendo luwanvu. So the Pitchfest is an event where entrepreneurs pitch in their ideas to access finances for their business growth. As last year, the Pitchfest held in Kampala recorded a success rate of 75%, which aroused interest from entrepreneurs in the whole country. So if you look at interest from the whole country, by entrepreneurs, abatandika, the starters, the beginners, bagenda ne balaba nti waliwo opportunity eyingiddewo okuva mu Pitchfest. Ng'eno opportunity egenda kuyamba omuntu atandika okubaako kyagatta ku business ye. So ojja kwekanga nga yes ofunamu gwe nga ki gwe ng'omunayuganda. So the Pitchfest is 25th November. Take the situation just like Imuka Access has been guiding these Ugandans, as most of the Ugandans, to talk about more and more. So we are looking at what is happening across the world in terms of business news, as we're winding up with the show still. But let's look at the other story here. Let's travel to Northern Ireland. Now, Northern Ireland is actually set to scrap off the bridge plans that they had between Northern Ireland to connect Northern Ireland and Scotland. And this was actually going to be a long bridge, something like, you know, that famous, these are, you know, those famous long bridges that can actually connect two countries, borders. And remember, Northern Ireland is one which is actually, and Scotland, what divides the two countries is the ocean, all the waters. Now, the plans to build a bridge or tunnel between Scotland and Northern Ireland have been ruled out due to the forecasted cost and engineering challenges. Because if you look at the challenges of the engineering challenges, that the bridge could actually cost around £20 billion. So that is why you could see that it has been scrapped off. The plans to build a bridge or tunnel between Scotland have been ruled out due to forecasted costs and engineering challenges. First of all, the £20 billion is those are very huge amounts of money. Not only that, let's look at the engineering costs, all the engineering challenges. As a study examining if such a project was possible is expected to advise against proceeding with any proposals when it is released next week. According to reports, the government will, the two governments will agree with the reported recommendations, as the United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been a vocal supporter of a fixed link between Britain and Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom. So it actually adds on to that. And away from that, still with the United Kingdom, we're looking at some of those global stories that some of you might have missed. The other is continue to soar at the fastest rate for almost 10 years. So remember, inflation is looming door to door in every economy. Here we have issues with our fuel that is actually expected to impact on the prices within the next few days. UK prices are soaring at a fast rate, something that has not been happening in the last 10 years. The cost of living is such that it's fastest pace in almost 10 years, hitting 4.2% in terms of the increase this October. It is, first and foremost, it is due to high fuel and energy prices, but the cost of second-hand cars and eating out also rose. Now, look at this. I was actually identifying the idea that once fuel prices increase in Uganda, or once the fuel prices have increased worldwide, what you need to expect as a Ugandan is that it should not shock you that most of the prices are going to increase of most commodities. One, the cost of production has to increase because inflation is highly expected. The cost of production has to increase because the companies that use the production is one, transportation is very vital. For products to be transported from the manufacturers, that is from the office or from their production point to the ready market, it takes a lot of money and a lot of processes. So that means the money of the fuel, remember fuel is actually increasing. If you look at the cost of diesel, it is now rose from 3,900 to 4,200, and in most filling stations it's at 4,200 rather. Now petrol from 4,300 went up to 4,500 to 4,600. So you can only imagine how it has actually been increasing with that. So that means you expect inflation and prices to soar. So, and even in the UK, it is the same, as it has actually mainly been attributed to high fuel prices and the energy prices, but the cost of second-hand cars and eating out areas also rose, as the Office of National Statistics said. Inflation is up sharply since COVID restrictions ended this year, and the economy reopened in the UK, as the Bank of England says it may have to raise interest rates in the coming month to tackle rising prices. Nti waliwo ebyamaguzi ebirinnya ne bi-impactinga market ge mafuta. So if you to follow up on the issue of mafuta, olw'ensonga nti economies were under lockdown, so companies z'amafuta zakatinga production ne tuba nga level of export yakendeeramu olw'ensonga tewaaliwo katale kamala. Economies zisinga ba essential worker bokka be baali bakkirizibwa okuvuga amamotoka, namwe mujjukira bulungi wano mu ggwanga. So kati mu bbanga eryo lyonna baproducer b'amafuta bakatinga production, so amafuta ne batandika okusala rate at which they used to, the barrels at which, or the level at which they used to produce nekendeera. So kino kyategeeza nti by the time they reopened, amafuta gabadde tegasobola mala. So that means the demand increased. So when the economy is reopened or fully reopened, the demand increased and yet the supply was low. So when the demand increased, it affected the supply, it affected the price, because kati amafuta agaliwo matono kiba kitegeeza baba balina okugalinyisaamuko nga wetulinda amalala agagenda okujja. But what people need to know is that the fuel prices will actually go back to their normal prices, will actually fall, and as the economy is actually developing, actually getting to a stable mode. So according to the Bank of England in the UK says the October's reading is far higher than the 3.1% rise recorded in the year to September, and more than double the bank's target of 2%. One would ask, what is inflation? Inflation is a rate at which prices are rising. If the cost of a £1 jar rises by 5, then jam inflation is expected to be by 5%, definitely. And if you're to look at some of the items that are getting more expensive in the UK, for instance, the household energy bills were the biggest driver of inflation after Ofgem, the energy regulator, lifted the price cap on domestic gas and electricity last month. It meant that gas bills rose by 28.1% in the year to October, while electricity climbed by 18.8%. So petrol prices rose by 25.4% to 138.6 per litre amid a surge in global oil prices. That is the highest rise since September 2012. You see, here in Uganda, actually, petrol prices actually rose from 4,200 to 4,600 at some gas filling stations. So that shows you the impact that fuel has on the economies of the world. So as we're actually winding up with the same scenario here of talking about what is actually happening across the world, so fuel still tackles the idea. We've mentioned about the Northern Ireland to Scotland bridge plans that have been scrapped off, as you can definitely get to understand. And let's also finalize this with the Glasgow COP26 success and the implications for business. So the COP26 summit was a successful showcase for Glasgow and for the social business benefits of getting back together in the post-COVID era. It highlighted the business travel industry as conference traffic gets back to growth following an unprecedented COVID shock it is having to adapt. The Glasgow Climate Pact may not have lived up to expectations for reduced carbon emissions and limiting global warming, but the COP26 gathering that led to the agreement certainly did. The past week has been a hectic one for the former United Nations territory on the north bank of the Clyde, as it was returned to the control of the UK Cabinet Office and much of the township dismantled. The work is far from finished, but the COP26 now, most of the world economies are actually looking at the opportunity to see that they implement what was discussed at the COP26 at the end of the day. So greatly, that is something you should actually expect at the end of it all. So away from what is happening from that, back to Uganda, the MTN IPO is coming to a closure today. So what are you waiting for? You can definitely be getting your shares with a few hours left. So you should use the opportunity, the available opportunity, to make sure that you get going at the end of the day. So make sure that you pick up from where you left out. So at the end of the day, it is high time for you to understand the pleasure that arises from the strategy as well. So for the other people and to every other person out there, I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. This is Smart Main's Business. We're going to surely do this as well. But just before we leave, by the way, back to my question. What makes you Ugandan? So the theme that we're going to have this week is going to be centered on what makes us Ugandans. What are those businesses that represent Uganda? Omanyi waliwo ebintu ensi ze zikola ng'ogenda mu nsi n'omanya nti kati nyingidde mwene ensi kino kye bakola kino tebakikola. Kati naffe mu ggwanga lino tulina ebintu byaffe mwenna mubimanyi, waliwo obuntu obwo. There are some characters that define us as Ugandans. Then there are also those businesses gy'omanya nti ne woogenda mu nsi ki Munnayuganda ye yagikoze kkiriza gaana. So we are looking at that special idea, what makes us Ugandans. Because if we are to look at that, what makes us Ugandan is quite different at the end of the day. So what makes you Ugandan is what makes me Ugandan. But what makes businesses Ugandan? Nti notunulira business nomanya nti haino business ya na Uganda ino ya Musa Bode. So at the end of the day, that's it for today as well. Smart Main's Business. We shall surely continue tomorrow with driving your businesses and making sure we keep you updated with the trending business stories. Jerome Paul Sonko, that is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow me and we talk business. If you want to advertise with us, we are located plot 29A Commercial Road, Naguru. Soon relocating though. But for now, we are still here. And of course, the official website is www.smart24tv.com. For all of you who have been catching up the show, thank you very much. We are surely and truly humbled to keep driving your businesses with you.